welcome to this very special edition of the KAJ Masterclass Live, the show that ensures that you profit from your time spent here with experts, either through their insights, information, or simply learning from them. And today we have Maasen. He is a certified fitness trainer and accredited life coach, and he's on a mission to guide you on a holistic journey towards your best self. Welcome to the show, Lee.
Man, thank you, AJ. I'm happy to be here.
You are welcome to the show. You are welcome to India in this online form. I'm sure a lot of people will benefit from what we'll be talking about. We'll be talking about how you can overcome self-sabotage. So,
Yeah.
my first question to you, Lee, is to understand why do people self-sabotage? Everyone, or all that our system of body talks us to go forward. What is this self-sabotage that is inside us?
It's bad habits. That's ultimately what self-sabotage is. And it's crazy, man, because we're actually comfortable self-sabotaging ourselves on that subconscious level. A little bit about my story is, I was super broke, lived in a trailer, and I smoked a lot of weed and I would eat a lot of food. And I noticed I started to self-sabotage after, maybe 1 week, 2 weeks of doing just picture perfect. And I would get tired. So I would have this trigger where, okay, I've done good for 2 weeks, and I would tell myself, oh, I deserve it. And then I would overeat, I would overconsume, and that would set me back, another week. So what I was doing was I was taking 2 steps forward, 1 step back, and then I would regret what I did. So then I started to learn, okay, I need to remove things from my life that I regret. And when I started to remove things out, when I started to remove bad habits, and that's when it gets tough, by the way, like get ready to be uncomfortable, because those habits are comfortable for us. So when we start to remove some of these habits, remove negative vices, we actually can go forward. So the simple answer is we self-sabotage because we really don't trust ourselves on a subconscious level, and we really have bad habits. And a lot of these times, KJ or AJ, is, dude, we've had these habits since we've been little kids. Like my overeating came when my parents would feed me peanut butter, and I would overconsume peanut butter ever since I was a child. So we have to really learn about ourselves and then break those habits. And a lot of times it's stuff when we were like itty bitty little children.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, how do we deal with this self-sabotage? You said that, that when we are exercising, when we do have some resolve, then we just, go sometime haywire from there and do not keep that same discipline. But in life, say in terms of your bodybuilding or in terms of your weight loss program, and they also talk about that you should reward yourself. In life, they say you should reward yourself. You can have a cheat day. How do you calibrate those two things? That, okay, you are trying to reward yourself, you are trying to have a good day, but you are not sabotaging yourself. How do I know when that boundary is getting crossed? Help us understand that.
I don't believe in cheat days. I don't believe in them, because when you do that, then it puts you like 3 or 4 steps backwards, and then you're just really recovering from those cheat days again. And in fact, AJ, is when you hit like that, like I said, I would go like 2 weeks and I would get really tired. That's when I would fall to my vices. When you face that challenge again, that's when you're really going to learn if you're growing, if you're really changing in that moment. So I think it's Rudolf Steiner says, you always have your stimulus with whatever it is. Then you have that little space of time when you can make the decision, I choose to be better than my vices. I choose to be better than these bad habits. Or you can choose weakness and actually fall back into those bad habits. So to answer your question, that's the real moment of truth, is when you deserve it, when you want to reward yourself. That's when the suffering, it's real suffering, by the way. That's the real sacrifice. And that's why it's so hard, because most of us cannot make that decision to better ourselves. So to answer your question, I personally don't believe in cheat days, cheat meals. I don't believe in it because that's actually what sets you back. That's when we find that moment, that challenge, that's when we're truly being tested. We're not going to be tested when we're feeling good, whenever we got a full night's rest. We're going to be tested when our kids kept us up all night and things at work aren't going quite like we want it to, but we still have our goals we want to hit, but I'm tired. Do I hit the snooze button and sleep in an extra 90 minutes, or do I go ahead and get up like I've been doing and go ahead and hit that workout, or skip that meal, do a little bit intermittent fasting, and suffer through right now? I mean, that's what sacrifice is the giving up that pleasure now, because it really is just pleasure, or to have that pleasure later. So yeah, I don't believe in cheat days, cheat meals, and I just truly believe in persevering and pushing through, because then that's when you're going to get your results.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, Lee, in terms of, men and women, does this self sabotage work differently? Does it the same way? Help us understand in that background.
Oh, women are so much worse. Women have this um, perpetual negative self-talk in their minds where they just talk so bad about themselves. Am I good enough? Am I this? Am I that? And they're literally in this endless loop. So in a couple ways, it's actually harder for women to bust through that because, I believe in a little bit of the metaphysical stuff is, emotions are energy. So if we continue to tell ourselves we're not good enough, we're not bad, that's going to lower our frequency, our vibration down into that lower state of being, and we're actually going to hurt ourselves. So it's actually a little bit harder for women. I think men, we almost need to be insulted in a way, men, I have some guys where I'm nice about it, but I'm like, man, you got to lose 100 pounds. Like, do you want to, how do you feel when you take your shirt off at the pool? Do you take your shirt off at the pool, or are you afraid to take your shirt off at the pool? Most of the times they're afraid to take their shirt off. So I almost, not saying I have to insult them, but I have to be like, do you think your kids are proud of their dad? Look at it from their perspective. Are they proud that their dad is the only one afraid to take his shirt off, at the pool? Or let's flip it. What if you're absolutely shredded? Would your kids not be like, dude, that's my dad right there? Be proud of that. Is that what you want? I remember growing up having little arguments in elementary school with my friends, be like, my dad would beat your dad up. No, your dad would beat my dad up. My dad would beat your dad up. We would get those little arguments, and it's all fun and games. And then as I've gotten older, I've began to realize, man, we really do need to be the examples, and we have to lead by example. I don't have any kids of my own. I have a couple nephews and a couple little cousins, and they think I'm the coolest dude in the world because, I think I'm the coolest guy in the world myself. But I know that they're not going to listen to anything that I say, nothing, but they're going to emulate everything that I do. And that's a big thing for adults out there, is just to realize, kids are not going to listen to you, but they're going to emulate what you do. So you could tell them to not do something, but they're not going to listen. But if they see you not doing what it is you're telling them to not do, then that's when they're actually going to follow you.
Right. Rightly. You talk about, optimizing lifestyle for success. So, what should one look at in one's day-to-day life? What are the things they should adopt? What are the things that they should avoid? Help us understand, because in your background you had some difficult moments yourself. You had a lot of pain also, and you could have drowned yourself in all those things, but you have built life beyond that. So I want to understand, for a lot of young people, exactly how should they look at life, build their life, how should they adapt the good things in life, and avoid the not so good things.
Yeah, that's a really good question. I did drown myself in negative turmoil for almost a decade. My brother was murdered. I had a full baseball scholarship going to college, and I lost everything. I went, nobody saved me. I'm 100% where I'm at because of my hard work. And, I worked dead end jobs, bean and rice packaging factories, dog food plants. I served. I got fired from a couple of jobs because I got into a couple fights. And, the biggest thing that I can say is we, especially men, young men, need core beliefs to live by. When I was in that mental prison, just beating myself up of no self-worth, I never had any core beliefs to live by. Nobody told me, Lee, don't do this, don't do that, do this. I just was depressed and, suicidal. So if I were to tell a young man today, and this relates to young women as well, the first thing I would say is get up early every day. Like, just instill that habit. I truly believe that waking up early is the hardest thing to do. I believe that is harder than fasting. If you can get up at the same time every single day, one, you're going to make your day longer. Like, you're going to have more time to do whatever it is you need to do. And then two, you're really instilling the discipline of overcoming probably the hardest thing on the planet, which is to wake up early every day. So I would say get up at the same time, no matter what. If you decide to go party and drink the night before with your buddies, it doesn't matter. You need to still get up at that same time, because if you can handle that and you don't snooze, you don't sleep in, you don't waste your morning, then sure, you can live that lifestyle. Lee couldn't do it. Like, I couldn't go out and, consume my vices and then still wake up. So I had to remove those vices out of my life because I was committed to waking up at the exact same time every single day. So that's the first real thing I think, people can do, is wake up at the same time. The second thing is start fasting. Start doing a little bit of intermittent fasting. And, that's another form of suffering, of sacrificing. Whenever you can control your mind, because that mind will tell you, like, oh, I'm so hungry, I need to eat, I need to do these things, I need to rock and roll. Like, I'm going to die if I don't have breakfast. You will not die. You'll be fine. You have to restrain yourself, have the self-discipline to not consume. We're such consumers, man. That's really what all we do is we consume the cell phone, we consume food, we consume the news. We're not creating. We're like you and I right now, we are creating. And really, ultimately, that's what I believe we are here to do, is to create, be creators. God was a creator. We're creators. We're here to make the world a better place. So that's where I would start people. Two things. I would say wake up at the same time every day. Start fasting, start intermittent fasting, because if you do those are the two hardest things in the world, I think. And then, then you kind of get underneath that, start exercising, start getting your priorities straight. But just if you start waking up early, you'll take away some of these negative vices at nighttime, and you'll just start to feel better about yourself. The second thing would be start intermittent fasting, start restraining yourself from food. Strength is through restraint. That's how you build confidence, is you restrain yourself from being impulsive. And that's where I would start people. And then after that, then you start exercising, start eating better foods, start, working on your long-term goals a little bit more. So I would say wake up at the same time every day, start intermittent fasting. And then after that, you can start to, build off that.
Right, Lee. You are a certified fitness trainer and an accredited life coach. So I want to understand through that, who are the people who come to you for training or for life coaching? So that what is the problem that they are bringing to you nowadays? What is the age group that generally comes to you, so that we can understand their mindset, the type of things that are happening, and how exactly you help them, so that people know about your training method, about your coaching method.
Mhm. Yeah, so I've worked with everybody. I've worked from 16-year-olds to 80-year-olds, grandmothers, professional athletes, Olympic athletes. I've literally worked with everybody across the board. And today, most people seem to be more of that 25 to kind of 55-year-old men. I do have women that come to me as well, but it seems to be mostly men that I work with now. And their biggest problem is confidence, man. And you'd be amazed at how many guys are taking antidepressants right now. Antidepressants, something because they don't feel good about themselves internally. So the biggest problem most men are facing is we're losing the small little wins every day. So I call it stacking wins. And this is how we don't have confidence, or this is why we don't have confidence, and this is how we build confidence. Confidence isn't you just do one thing and next thing you know, I'm super confident. Like I didn't build the confidence to come on this show. This isn't my first time speaking, you know, like I've talked to people before. I've been doing this for a few years, sharing this message. But the way I built that confidence was I stacked the small wins. Like I've already woke up early today. That's a win. I've already worked
Right.
out. That's a win. I've communicated with multiple clients already today. I actually have 5 wins already today, and it's 8 o'clock. It's 8 a.m. So that's how we stack these small wins. And then by noon, I'll have like 20 wins. By the end of the day, I'll have 30 wins. And that's how we build our confidence. So most men, what we're doing is when the alarm goes off, we're hitting snooze. That's a loss, especially if we tell ourselves, I'm going to wake up early, and then we hit snooze. Well, that's a loss. Okay, I'm going to fast. I'm not going to eat breakfast today. Well, then I go and I eat breakfast. I get my honey bun. Okay, that's another loss. And then a lot of guys are just stacking these losses, and next thing they know, they're looking in the mirror and like, man, how did I gain 30 pounds? What's going on? Why do I not like myself? And that's why, because on a subconscious level, they do not trust themselves, because they know if they say something, then more than likely they're not going to do it. So really, people ask me this, it's like, Lee, how do I get fit? And it's not the how, it's the who. Who are you to become fit? Like, what does a fit person do? Just like anything in life, what does a successful person do? They show up on time. They work hard. They do their best. They start and they finish when they say they're going to. They're prepared. What does an unsuccessful person do? They show up late. They do this, they do that. That's the main difference, is the small little wins for people. So we got to start stacking these small wins every single day. So ultimately, what I do is I give people a blueprint. I say, all right, you're going to wake up early. You're going to do this. You're going to hit your nutrition numbers, your macros, exactly how I'm laid out for you. You're going to hit your workout, and you're going to do it every day. And then what happens at the end of a month, they lose 10 pounds. 2 months, they lose 20 pounds. 3 months, they have six-pack abs. They're shredded. They get a job promotion because they have more confidence in themselves. They look better. They're more physically fit. They're unstoppable. And then they say, hey, I'm going to do this. And they know without a doubt in their minds that they can do it, because they're building that self-discipline, that self-worth through the small daily actions.
Absolutely, absolutely, Lee. So those people, who want to learn more from you, more about you, and to engage with you professionally, what is the best way for them to do so?
Instagram. Instagram will be the best way. And you guys can find me at Lee Maasen. It's the at Lee Maasen, LeeMaasen. And anybody needs help, they can just DM me there. And then I answer all my DMs. And then if somebody really wanted to get a little, they can check out a lot of the YouTube stuff we have. Like, we're putting a lot of YouTube content out on really how to help people find their macros, their nutrition numbers, good proper workouts. Because like I said, I've worked with everybody. The 18-year-olds workouts are going to be different than the 80-year-olds. But at the end of the day, it's all the same. Like, they just need a way to push their body that's healthy, because then that strengthens the mind at the same time. The body and the mind are not separate. People think they are. Now, we know what the brain is. Like, there's no doubt the brain is it calls a lot of decisions. It's like our computing system, but the minds, they actually don't know where the mind is, which is very fascinating, I think.
Absolutely, absolutely. Uh, with this, it's a wrap on this very special edition of the KJ Masterclass Live. Thank you so much indeed for joining us.
Man, thank you for having me, AJ. I appreciate it.